Craig and Catherine were married at their home in 1993, and Craig got back to doing what he does best, looking for turnarounds.
My plan was to come back. My goal was not to be large, it was to be successful.
I got a flyer. It was a listing for the sale of St. Paul Place.
There were 2 buildings which were substantially vacant at the time.
We all knew it was a risky thing, I suppose, to buy an empty building, but how much worse can it get?
I'm generally the one that throws shade on a lot of Craig's ideas. My pitch to him was, Craig, why do that? Why not put the same amount of capital into something that's much more cash flow oriented?
There are some people on our team that were more excited than others.
But that's not Craig. Craig is somebody who likes the challenge, likes the home run deal.
We bought St. Paul Place first, then we bought Harwood, shortly thereafter, not too long thereafter.
Together they were a little over 1 million square feet, and we added parking for both of them. We changed the lobbies. We did what we've always done. We try to see something that can be improved and make it better.
Sure enough, leased them up, sold them at a perfect moment in the market, and made a fortune.
We bought a number of pieces of property in Frisco, and we sold most of them. One we decided to keep and develop was because I thought it would be fun and a bit of a challenge to do a development of primarily office space. And our property was a cow pasture.
What the hell are you doing in buying this tract of land? Cows out there, have you lost your mind?
I think some thought he was crazy.
Not some people, everybody.
Why on earth would you buy real estate almost to Oklahoma?
And then I decided we should build a building. And so we figured out an area and where we're going to build a 100,000 square foot building.
We had no loan, no tenants, and no road.
I remember brokers telling me, can you believe Craig Hall is building way out north?
We stood where the building would be and scratched our head and just thought, wow, this is quite a challenge.
Well, why would I take a client out there to lease space? You couldn't even get there except by a dirt road.
I believed it would work. We built the building. It's finally finished. It's 100% vacant. We have a grand opening party. Invite all the brokers.
We had food.
We had these big shrimp bowls.
We had band playing.
It was fully decked out.
We had banners on the building.
And there were more hall people there than guests.
I think 4 people showed up.
It was a disaster.
Around the same time that Hall was breaking ground out in Frisco, another interesting opportunity came along.
I started my career in downtown in the mid-'80s. It was actually a good time to learn the business, but a very painful time if you were actually in the business and had money at risk, because it was a terrible recession. I had seen the eyesore that sat here for years and years, favorably referred to as Stonehenge.
All these pillars were sticking out of the ground.
It was rebar and concrete.
And then below grade, 7 stories of underground garage.
It was the infrastructure plan for the building that just never occurred.
Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, they were going to build 2 50-story office buildings, 2 million square feet, on some land in the Arts District. Metropolitan decided in 1986, I think, to stop construction. By 1995, they made a decision that the market was still terrible and they'd rather just take their loss and walk away. And that's when I was approached, would I be interested in buying it?
It was a very distressed sale, a very opportunistic purchase. Immediately, we went and hired an architect to start to try to figure out how to develop this site. Of course, we didn't develop it for, 20 years later.
Meanwhile, Craig and Catherine were ready for a new adventure. They were both friends and supporters of U.S. President Bill Clinton and began discussing the possibility of seeking an ambassadorship with the Clinton administration. That conversation included which one of them should vie for the opportunity to serve.
That was a fairly brief conversation. Here's a person who has a law degree, has run her own business,
Part of my life spent in Europe,
ran for mayor of Dallas,
spoke other languages.
and has a lot of political strengths. And then on the other hand, here's a guy who just got out of bankruptcy, dropped out of college, probably has some people that don't like him or are mad at him, because it's been through a rough time.
Call came and it was, would you like to go to be ambassador to Austria?
Kathy accepted, and Craig asked Don Braun to step into the role of president of Hall Financial Group.
To me, it was a great honor that Craig would place that responsibility on me, not only the fact that he had named me president, but that he was leaving the country.
When the president needed to appoint a new U.S. ambassador to Austria, he called on a Dallas woman.
He named Catherine Hall to that post. Fox 4's Barbara White traveled to Vienna for a behind-the-scenes look at Hall's new life.
The United States of America ambassador to Austria, Catherine Hall.
We are in the age of public diplomacy.
Nice to meet you. I'm very grateful to the United States. They always send strong women to Austria.
I am very proud to be here this evening.
It was a time for me that was profound, life-changing. We were able to get treaties signed. We did work on the Holocaust to give a measure of justice to the survivors and relatives of the survivors. We had policies in Vienna that brought together young people from warring countries who today, I'm sure, are in political leadership positions.
Like other U.S. ambassadors before her, Hall is a media star. Friends in Dallas may call her Kathy. Here, the proper way to address her is...
She's always Your Excellency or Madam Ambassador, period.
And her husband?
Well, he can say whatever he wants to say.
Craig Hall left his real estate firm in Dallas to join his wife in a supporting role.
It's certainly a reversal for me, but I both respect and love my wife a lot, so because of that, it is not an easy thing or something that I naturally fit into.
The adjustment was hard and something for which I will always be indebted to him.